Welcome to Tonetalks. How's everybody doing today? This is Antonio Moore coming to you from Tonetalks. You know, I just got through watching the Kanye West Oval Office discussion, and it's just really a problem. The fact that Kanye West went into the Oval Office and represented black people in that way, I don't think we all understand the devastation, the problem with him, with black celebrity, with Trump, with all of it, and what it means for black America and black families. It's time for us to get honest and get real. I want to have a brief discussion about what I see with this Kanye West nonsense. I watched all 20 minutes of him just ranting and talking in the White House, and I couldn't help but think back to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in that same Oval Office with Lyndon Johnson pushing forward for voting rights and civil rights and gains that led to the black America that some of us have experienced, allowing us to go to places like UCLA or Stanford, Yale, Harvard. And now here we have a man who's basically, to me, represents a pushback of 50 to 100 years of progress. This man is a problem, period. I don't understand how you go up in there with this red hat talking about make America great again when there's more black men incarcerated than nearly all women globally. How do you say that? Now, I understand he tried to dance around prison and politics, but he don't know enough. You know, he had this line early on in the video where he talks about how people around him tried to scare him into not wearing his hat. It's not about a hat. It's about what the hat represents. It's about the fact that the hat represents white oppression of black bodies that goes all the way back to slavery and pushes all the way forward and past our lives into mass incarceration that will devastate black families for decades to come. To not understand that and sit there and support Donald Trump and act like this is a game is a problem. It's not a matter of just speaking to Donald Trump. It's a matter of you speaking to him and not knowing what you're talking about. This is devastation. This is black families that are at stake. I think everybody understands what they just watched and the consequence of it. The policy consequence that comes from letting a black celebrity like Kanye West sit there and speak for black families. When we have PhDs, when we have economists like Darity, when we have lawyers like myself who can speak power to power. I'm frustrated and pissed off that Kanye West did that. I don't think that you guys are really understanding how pissed off you should be. Literally. He sat in the same Oval Office that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. sat in. The office that can lead to so much or so little for black America. And here we are, looking at this thing and not understanding how lit we should be. Look, I don't want to speak without everybody having seen the video. I'm going to play about 10 or 15 minutes of this video. Don't lose focus. I want you to watch 10 or 15 minutes straight of this video and understand what this means for your black family, for your black community, and for yourself. I'll be back in a second.
People expect that if you're black, you have to be Democrat. I've had conversations that basically said that welfare is the reason why a lot of black people end up being Democrat. They say, you know, first of all, it's a limit to amount of jobs. So the fathers lose the jobs and they say, we'll give you more money for having more kids in your home. And then we got rid of the mental health institutes in the 80s and the 90s, and the prison rates just shot up. And now you have Chirac, what people call Chirac, which is actually our murder rate is going down like 20% every year. I just talked to the superintendent, met with Michael Sachs, that's Ron's right-hand man. So I think it's the bravery that helps you beat this game called life. You know, they tried to scare me to not wear this hat, my own friends, but this hat, it gives me power in a way. You know, my dad and my mom separated, so I didn't have a lot of male energy in my home. And also, I'm married to a family that, you know, not a lot of male energy going on. It's beautiful though, but there's times where, you know, it's something about, you know, I love Hillary, I love everyone, right? But the campaign, I'm with her, just didn't make me feel as a guy that didn't get to see my dad all the time, like a guy that could play catch with his son. It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. And you made a Superman cape. For me, also as a guy that looks up to you, looks up to Rap Rant, looks up to American industry guys, non-political, no bullshit, put the beep on it, however you want to do it, 5 seconds delay, and just goes in and gets it done. Right now, you gave me the heart to go to Adidas, because at Adidas, when I went in 2015, we were a $14 billion company, losing $2 billion a year. Now we have a $38 billion market cap. It's called the Yeezy effect. And I went to Casper. We had a meeting in Chicago. And I said, you have to bring manufacturing onshore, not even shore, into the core. It's not about the borders, the core of Adidas. And Chicago is the core of Middle America. We have to make Middle America strong. So I had the balls, because I have enough balls to put on this hat. I mean, this Adidas thing made me a billionaire, and I could have lost $200 million walking away from that deal. But even with that, I knew it was more important for me to take the chance of walking away from that deal than to have no fathers in Chicago with no homes. And when we do have prison reprobation, because it's habilitation, not rehabilitation, because we didn't have the abilities in the first place. We never had anyone that taught us. We didn't teach us. Exactly, we had no one that taught us. Right? So it's more important than any specific deal, anything, that we bring jobs into America, and that we provide a transition with mental health and the American education curriculum that Jim has worked on. Larry Hoover also has a curriculum that he's worked on. We have Montessori curriculums that we worked on. WeWorks has a beautiful curriculum. The Waldorf establishment has a curriculum. We have meditation. There's a lot of things affecting our mental health that makes us do crazy things, that puts us back into that trap door called the 13th Amendment. I did say abolish with the hat on, because why would you keep something around that's a trap door? If you build in the floor, the Constitution is the base of our industry, right? Of our country, of our company. Would you build a trap door that if you mess up and you accidentally something happens, you fall and you end up next to the Unabomber? You got to remove all that trap door out of the relationship. The 4 gentlemen that wrote the 13th Amendment, and I think the way the universe works, it's perfect. We don't have 13 floors, do we? So the four gentlemen that wrote the 13th Amendment didn't look like the people they were amending. Also, at that point, it was illegal for blacks to read, or African Americans to read. And so that meant if you actually read the amendment, you get locked up and turned to a slave. Again, so what I think is, we don't need sentences, we need pardons. We need to talk to people. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was connected with a neuropsychologist that works with the athletes in the NBA and the NFL. And he looked at my brain. It's equal on 3 parts. I'm going to go ahead and drop some bombs for you. 98 percentile IQ test. I had a 75 percentile of all human beings, but it was counting 8 numbers backwards off the repeat. So I'm going to work on that. The other one's 98%. Tesla, Freud. He said that I actually wasn't bipolar. I had sleep deprivation, which could cause dementia 10 to 20 years from now, where I wouldn't even remember my son's name. So all this power that I got, and I'm taking my son to the Sox game and all that, I wouldn't be able to remember his name from a misdiagnosis. And what we need is, we can empower the pharmaceuticals and make more money. That's one thing. I've never stepped into a situation where I didn't make people more money. So we can empower pharmaceuticals, we can empower our industries, we can empower our factories, we can bring not only Adidas on shore, we can bring Foxconn to set up a factory in, I think, Minnesota, 53,000.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. They got 4,000 jobs, people making $53,000 a year. And one of the things we gotta set is Ford to have the highest design, the dopest cars, the most amazing. I don't really say dope, I don't say negative words and try to flip them. We just say positive, lovely, divine, universal words. So the flyest, freshest, most amazing car. And what we want to start with is, I brought a gift with me right here. This right here is the iPlane 1. is a hydrogen-powered airplane, and this is what our president should be flying in. Look at this, Jared.
So get rid of Air Force One. Can we get rid of Air Force One? No, you don't like that.
Well, we're going to have Apple, an American company, work on this plane with it. But you know what I don't like about? It's not that I don't like. What I need Saturday Night Live to improve on, or what I need the liberals to improve on is, if he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest planes, the best factories, and we have to make our core be empowered. We have to bring jobs into America because our best export is entertainment and ideas. But when we make everything in China and not in America, then we're cheating on our country. And we're putting people in positions to have to do illegal things to end up in the cheapest factory ever, the prison system.
I'll tell you what, that was pretty impressive. I hate to say this, Jim. Do you want to say something? What do you do after that?
You don't mind if I...
So now we're back. Kanye West ranting in the Oval Office. The Oval Office that can give executive orders, that can sign vetoes, that controls Supreme Court justices. And you have a man in the office that doesn't understand Black America speaking for Black America. Jim Brown sitting next to him quiet. Look, so much of what was said was wrong. He goes into this whole black family disorganization thing about welfare and more kids and the black father, and that's why this is beyond that. Does it play a role? Possibly. This is wealth calcification at full display. Black families, black bodies creating wealth like we've never seen in America that we now compete against after we graduate. Picking up scooters, driving and dropping people off. All of it is a problem. This is an important moment for Black America for generations to come. You got Kanye West and he's sitting there talking about himself. Me and I and businesses and Adidas. This is not hip hop and a negotiation with Adidas. We beyond that when you enter that Oval Office. He started talking about how Trump gave him pride to go talk and negotiate with Adidas. I don't even understand why we're talking about you. I don't even understand what you're saying about Adidas. It has no relevance in this moment. It was a mockery. All those press sitting around, standing around, watching this man talk about a black life that he don't know about. Middle black family in this country is worth $1,700 without depreciating assets. In places like Louisville and St. Louis and South Central Los Angeles. You got a guy that's talking about Chicago without understanding Chicago. He don't really get it. He don't really understand. I can't do nothing but look at the way he describes the 13th Amendment as a trap door. It wasn't no trap door. It was the front door. It was the replacement for American slavery. It was the way to keep control without saying that you're going to keep control. These black men that I talk about that are incarcerated more than all women globally, they descend from American slavery. You got prison wardens talking about, you not sending me my prisoners. You promised me prisoners. That's today. How do you promise crime? Kanye don't understand that. This is built in, baked in. This is America. To have a man who doesn't understand Chicago, South Central, or America speak for black folks about America to a Trumpish government, to a President Donald Trump, to a white media, we should be livid right now. Y'all better get hot. Y'all better get mad. This is a problem. This was one of the most consequential, problematic moments for black America in the media in decades. I don't think everybody gets it. When you get home, this is not about laughing. This is not memes. This is serious. It was a joke what he did. And black families across this country, from Louds, Alabama, where they got feces in their backyard, to Flint, Michigan, where they got lead in their water, to Skid Row, where your homeless daddy is on Skid Row with no mental help, and you got him talking about mental health with no understanding about mental health. Meditation. We need to meditate. Come on, man. He brings up Wisconsin. Wisconsin is one of the worst states for black folks in all of the country. And he starts making it seem like they got something positive going on there. You talking about Milwaukee, where 40% of black males working age were unemployed at one point? Milwaukee. How can you go in there and talk about Wisconsin without knowing the truth about Milwaukee? You talking about the Milwaukee where when you look at the racial dot map and you start looking at areas, all but one concentrated area of black folks, it's either Section 8 housing or jail. That is concentrated failure, built in and baked into blackness. America better get real about itself. You better bring that black hat in there and take that red hat up out of there. Let Tone talk to the president, because I'll let him know straight. We can come in. James Baldwin said white is a metaphor for power, and that is simply a way of describing Chase Manhattan Bank. Understand that statement. If white is a metaphor for power, what is blackness? Kanye don't understand that. His raceless understanding of race is creating more of a problem than we understand. He don't get it. He doesn't understand that black folks, the bottom half of black folks, are worth less than $1. That means they are not here in America. They just live in America. I think the reality of the decadent veil, black celebrity, is on full display. For far too long, I've said it, black celebrity has covered up black struggle. The use of black people in these entertainment spaces to cover up the consequence of blackness all across this country, in the Midwest, in the South, is a problem. And we're seeing the ultimate conclusion of that. The consequence of loving the narcissism that is represented at the core of black celebrity. Kanye West represents the ultimate conclusion of what our love of black celebrity ends up doing to black life. It ends up bastardizing black struggle for narcissism and personal gains, leaving us more mockery than pariah. You know, one of the oddest moments of the whole video is when he pulls out his phone, Kanye West, and shows President Trump some hydrogen airplane, like a kid. He proceeds to tell the president, we need you to be the freshest, and that Saturday Night Live needs to understand that we got to represent you right. Donald Trump don't deserve that from us. Not after tax cuts, Kanye West. Not after seating a conservative justice like Kavanaugh, Kanye West. Donald Trump deserves our foot to neck. He deserves us to put pressure, to create demands for black people, for poor people, and for yourself. This was a damning and devastating day for black folk. I want everybody to understand this whole mockery was a problem. And we all need to be aware of that. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.org, subscribe and donate, share this video, because people need to understand this is not a game. Tone Talks brings to you the racial wealth gap in America, explained in 60 seconds. In America, there are 190 million whites, living in just about 82 million homes, while there are 40 million blacks, living in just over 14 million homes. To truly understand the racial wealth gap, you must look past the income of these families and evaluate household worth. According to demos.org, in total, white American households own 90% of the national wealth. In contrast, black Americans altogether own less than 2.6% of the national wealth, with most of this small sliver being in the hands of black baby boomer retirees. Black working age families are largely invisible nationally in terms of wealth. To give a clearer lens, the bottom 50% of American households control only 1% of the national wealth. And of the total 14 million black households, likely over 10 million black families fall into this bottom group that owns nearly no wealth. The racial wealth gap is real and it's growing. While 10%, or about 8 million white homes, are worth $1.4 million or more, according to Slate.com, when you deduct the family car, 50% of African American homes, or over 7 million black families, are worth no more than $1,700. Subscribe to learn more at tonetalks.org.